I'm going to reluctantly do that today. I think we're all feeling some type of way about the ending of the basketball game and how we all feel about what went on and what's going to happen with Rick. How do we feel about going forward? I know there's a lot of people that are on both sides. I'm definitely in the I personally like Rick Barnes. I think he's created a great culture. I think he's done a lot of great things for this university. I think he's got the man of integrity aspect kind of freaking nailed down. And also, he's a really good basketball coach. I think that's okay to say. But I also can tell you that that wasn't the best showing on Saturday. And it's another one of the Rick Barnes doesn't do great in March stands legs to stand on. I don't love it, nor does anybody. This team really became something that we could get behind. It's a tough one. We'll get into it. There's more notes. The Lady Vols have won. BaseVols absolutely rolled over South Carolina this weekend. Spring practice starts next week. Man, welcome to Valhalla, folks. Let's do this right. After watching Friday's game against Longwood, and again, I know it's Longwood, but look at all the struggles that higher seeds had over lower seeds. And in perspective, that beatdown of Longwood, man, that looked good. The optimism, the carryover from the SEC tournament that people have after winning a conference tournament, especially under the circumstances that Tennessee did, of, oh man, we haven't won since 1979. Oh, we just hung a banner in TBA, baby. Whoo, you're feeling high. You're riding off this wonderful high that you've got from finally breaking over that hump. Finally getting over that hump to getting an SEC title, having just a really great ending of the season, and you're playing your best ball. I mean, honestly, Tennessee was playing their best basketball coming in, and yeah, they've had some big wins over the season, but you know, you get that dub over Arkansas, then you kind of get over the hump of beating Kentucky in the SEC tournament, which we all hear that bull crap of this is the Kentucky Invitational, and to their respect, they do have quite a few wins in that SEC tournament, but boy, this was Tennessee's time. Finally got it. That was a really good season. But sometimes that hangover happens, and it didn't against the bad seed. That's where you feel like you see it. You're like, oh man, Tennessee might struggle against Longwood. They won't cover and might be too much. And that didn't happen at all. Offensively, defensively, Tennessee came out and smacked them right in the freaking face and cooked them from 14 threes in that game. And they shot over 50% from three. They locked them up defensively, just gave them no hope. Don't give these lower seeds or higher seeds, however you want to say that, the actual higher number seed. We'll say that. I don't know. Some people, I hear different qualms about what you call that side, but you actually can't give those guys like Longwood hope. If you come out, you smack them in the face, and you just kind of show that you're the more dominant or more athletic team, or, sometimes that kind of works out. Look at, we'll give Memphis, for example. Memphis does have some clear young talent. Like, wow, those guys are going to play in the NBA, and they're super athletic. They're big. They came out and they smacked Gonzaga in the face, but Gonzaga responded. Memphis is up 10 at half against a really good team. So what you have to do in that moment, if you're the lower seed, is you have to come out and put pressure on them in the second half. But guys like Drew Timmy ball out. Tennessee didn't let up at all. They didn't come out in the first half flat. They didn't come out in the second half flat. It just was all gas pedal. All gas, no brakes, as the young kids like to say these days. So you're thinking, oh man, Saturday against a decent Michigan team. I didn't love that team basketball wise, honestly. I don't want to sound like negative towards Michigan, but I think the Vols were just a better team through and through, but just had a really bad day. Michigan clearly had size. Michigan has a really good guy in Hunter Dickinson. They have some good senior guards. Devontae did get to play after coming out of concussion protocol. Eli Brooks really got after Tennessee. Got some bad cuts, got some easy buckets, but really crushed him from the mid-range. I thought they got us, they bullied us a couple times, especially in the second half. Didn't love that. I want to go to some of the reasons why we lost, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give a lot of credit to my boy Stats by Will, or Will Warren, on Twitter. He does a fantastic job on his website, Stats by Will, and also his Twitter at Stats by Will. If you want to go follow this cat, Will Warren is, dude, he does a fantastic freaking job during the basketball season, along other times. A really good writer, and the stats part is not kidding. That boy dishes out some numbers that you had no idea. Anyways, so Tennessee, I know a lot of us know that they went 2 for 18. Damn, Hunter Dickinson made more threes by himself in that game. Don't like it one bit. Don't like it one bit. And, yes, it's taking a lot of threes in perspective, but that's what Tennessee does in a lot of cases this year. Was they really ramped up the three-point shooting. And guess what? They were really good at it throughout the year, especially coming in these last 2 months, shooting over 40%. And also 9 of those threes, 9 of those 16 that they missed were with defenders 4+ feet away. So we're getting open shots that just didn't go. And I know there's those stands out there, and, we see them all over the Twitter and Facebook groups that are just, Rick doesn't perform in March, and you can't blame the missed shots. Yeah, that's exactly what you can do. Tennessee just had their worst shooting performance of the year. I don't know. Those stands out there, wasn't Tennessee's best day, and unfortunately it was in the tournament. That sucks. But anyways, Will talked about in his article, it is what it is. It's the newest one on his page. This is an outlier. This is a true outlier. If you want to talk about in a graph standpoint, and he does a really good job of laying this out. I'm going to totally butcher it. Sorry, Will, if you listen to this. But anything from like an average perspective, which Tennessee shot 36.5% of the season. Like, that's their average. So anything from like 23 to 43% is in the window where you wouldn't call it an outlier. Tennessee shot 11%. So that's way out here if you're watching this on video. And you just have your one bad day. Your one bad day against Michigan, and it happens to be in this tournament. Good looks. Like I said, a lot of these shots were wide open. And it was the right guys, too. It's not like Huntley Hatfield and freaking Euros are out here stepping out. Like, these were good looks for Josiah in the corner. Vescovy just had his worst day. I really feel bad for him. He is going to have a lot of fuel for this offseason. And I hate it for that kid because, damn, he was good this year. He was our most consistent, first team all SEC. Everything was right. Oh, yeah. Need to hydrate. Tough weekend. I'm going to be honest with you. I ate and drank my sorrows away. That one hurt. I'm also, you guys, I've mentioned this before. I'm also a Carolina fan. And if you watched that game or saw anything on Twitter, that was just atrocious. Oh, did that one cause me to age? Boy, did that one cause me to age. And I should probably be rebaptized after the comments I made. I'm going to be honest with you. It wasn't great. It wasn't great at all. But that's okay. That's okay. We're back. Gonna be all right. Anyways, back to Tennessee before I get frustrated. So Saturday was a very emotional day for me personally, which I'm sure you guys might or might not care about, but that's okay. Gosh, to get back to the 3-point line, missing these threes is more than just the actual missed shot itself. A lot of these led to runouts for Michigan, easier buckets. Kind of sucks the life out of you if you played before in any capacity. Any capacities, a team starts cooking and the team starts missing like Tennessee did. You get stagnant and you get real nervous. And you could tell a great example would be Ziegler running off that. He had the wide open three towards the end of the game where he got the shot clock violation on the floater. And yeah, of course, that's cool. That went in and it was really close. But you have to take that open three. You really start to see guys get so tense and so tight that you stray away from open shots or slightly contested, which Tennessee is taking and making all season long. And it just didn't come into fruition on Saturday. Tennessee just really missed on assignments too. I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but I feel like Tennessee just had these lapses in crucial spots. And did anyone else feel like we just kind of forgot what help side defense was? I don't know. Like this Tennessee team, that defense is what they've relied on, even on bad shooting nights, and it's kept them in games. And I just never felt like it kept us in. Like I didn't feel like it was bad defense the whole game. Clearly, the score wasn't incredible, but I just feel like we really got lost too many times, and it just wasn't a typical Vols performance. I saw Ziegler. Like Ziegler didn't have his best on ball day. It just didn't seem right. I don't know. From end to end, it just never felt like that was all there. And then towards the end of the half, I thought they kind of cranked it up, and you saw Michigan play bad basketball. And that was because Tennessee kind of ramped up the defense. Even if it's just extra pressure, I didn't think it was like this holy crap lockdown defense, but I did feel like it was just a couple, like you cranked up a couple notches on the volume button. Just enough to notice. And that's when Michigan started to crumble. Overall, Michigan's got top end talent, don't get me wrong, but they're not the best basketball team. Like Dickinson's a tough matchup, and clearly Eli Brooks was pretty good, but I don't know if anybody else felt like they were just like this outstanding basketball team. Good for Juwan. I have my feelings about Juwan. Like, what kind of dude are you to punch a coach? But also, I get it. People make mistakes on the other side of that. And I think he kind of learned his lesson. And he got a suspension. And then it kind of goes to show you with the whole Kennedy Chandler thing. If you called that fake, then you're just searching. That was a real touching moment. That was a good moment for Juwan. And it's like, hey, a guy can make a pretty bad mistake, but also he's probably a pretty good dude. If you didn't see the celebration after the game with Michigan, those guys kind of love him. They do. He's fun. His boy Chris Webber was there. I guess good for that side. But I just think I think Michigan benefited from a bad Tennessee Vols day. And also, if you look back to add another point to that point of missing threes, it swings momentum. And if you make a couple of those threes in the crucial times, then Michigan feels a little out of sorts. You're walking the ball up instead of running out in transition. Things start to shift. You make 2 or 3 of those threes or even get back to medium. Tennessee probably wins that. You don't have these runs. You capitalize, you answer one back. Michigan takes that life train just a little bit slower. And that's going to do a lot for the Vols when it comes to the aspect of momentum. And I do hope that people understand that when you miss a three or make a three, it's more than just the actual shot. It's momentum of the game, and it's going to just really open up different things if you make those shots. The interior starts to get a little easier to attack. Josiah, it's one of those. I'm sure you guys all remember when he attacked that on the fast break, and he went up left-handed on the opposite side and got the and one, or he would have got the and one. That would have been huge, man. Also, I kind of forget how athletic he is or I guess springy, not overall athletic. That boy's got some bounce on him, and he is also so long. I'm glad to have him back. I wished he'd have shot a little bit better. Just wasn't his day. Kenny Chandler had a great day. Also, weirdly, I'm kind of sad that he had such a good day in his last tournament game, because that probably means that's it for Kennedy. I feel like it was anyways. I think we all did. But kind of think like, dang, that's it for somebody who got a lot better over the season. Early on against good teams, Nova, Zona, those teams like wore him out. Kennedy kind of didn't do great. I mean, he did okay against Arizona or against Villanova, but Arizona, that was his worst game of the season. You're like, you start to play big guards like Mathura and some of these other cats, and you don't have your best game, he might be figured out. And then he got better and better, and he played really good against really good competition, and he put it on Kentucky. And he did a really good job in the first half of the Michigan game. Obviously, he had, 15 and 7, I think, in the first half against Michigan. And then they switched to that zone, and it wasn't as easy for Chandler to get to the rim and give those dishes. And he only had, 4 points and 2 assists in the second half. Vescovy, again, I'm going to go back. I just feel so bad for that kid. Good dude. Great player. Just had his worst day, too. And I feel like we go as Vescovy does. Kennedy's going to get his. Ziegler's still, like, even when Ziegler has like a bad offensive game, you're like, he does all the right things. He causes havoc on defense, and he does little things that you can't really teach in some aspects. He's so freaking quick, man. He does a lot of right things, but I feel like he got beat on that Ayla Apple layup, and there was no help side on that side, and just didn't have his best day either. And Vescovy, Fulkerson, those guys are going to wish they had Saturday back. Fulke did okay. He had the big offensive rebound to kind of keep the Vols in it. But I think it's one of those you're going to look back and like, wished I was more aggressive. Wished I'd done a little bit more. I'm going to miss that guy. I had pals this morning. I'm recording this on Sunday. I had pals this morning in honor of him. I'm not the biggest, like, Fulke is a really good basketball player right now, guy. Going to be honest. Like, I think he's a valuable asset in some aspects for Tennessee, but I never felt like he got any better for the last 2 or 3 years. He did some things right. It just seems like he's a great guy. I don't know him, but I have people that do, and they say he's just such a wonderful person. He's going to be a VFL through and through, and, clearly he's got a magnetic personality, so it's going to be somebody you're going to miss. He does have an SEC record. That guy did play the most games ever in this conference. And I look forward to seeing what he does in the future, hopefully. I don't know if he'll play Europe or if he'll go coach or be Powell's media coordinator. I don't know what he's going to do, but that guy's got a future in something, and he's going to be just fine. It's just going to be disappointing because Gonna look back. Tennessee was outscored 22-8 in the last 7:21 of that game. That's a tough close, man. That's a tough freaking close. Especially because there's other parts where I wrote these keys to what I thought was going to happen. Just some ideas that I had on Facebook and Twitter at MCGreen423 if you want to follow, you know. But I kind of wrote out some things, and I just Hunter Dickinson beating Tennessee was not something that should have been allowed. He had 27, like I mentioned earlier. He had more threes than Tennessee team by himself, and he can shoot it. Like Hunter Dickinson's a talented player, and I just never felt like they started to double him till later in the second half, and then at that point, it just kind of didn't really matter because he was kind of feeling it. He got Euros playing his game in the start of the second half, and I just wanted more out of that. I wanted more out of attacking him, and they didn't do it. I didn't feel like our bigs ran hard enough down the floor because you got to make him chase you. You got get him out of breath. It's a death by 1,000 paper cuts. Every play you have to make him work, and I just didn't feel like that happened. Didn't feel like we brought enough doubles. The one time we did, he turned it over on the backside. Vescovy comes in and he made a tough pass. A lot of things. Tough close out for Tennessee. Michigan really did a good job. I'm not going to take any credit away from them, but it hurts, man. It hurts. People were finding things to pick at. I look on all these Vol forums and Facebook groups, and people talk about using Brandon Hatley Hatfield more. It's like that guy came out of that game, tried to take shots that he's not used to taking, and he's doing it to try to establish something, and it's just not his time. He's super talented, but he's also super young. And some of these big guys, they're just going to take time to develop. Obviously, you just got to start taking away the recruiting number or ranking earlier and not worry about that when it comes to a player's development. Because sometimes he's just way bigger than some of these kids. And guess what? You're going to dominate in high school. Have you seen that, man? He's huge. But it's not translated just yet. It will. He's a really good athlete. His stroke does look good, but it's just still got some time to develop. He'll figure some things out. Quit looking at the recruiting ranking when it comes to guys who you can clearly tell just aren't quite there yet to be an offensive force. Clearly, defensively, rebounding, he's a good role player right now. He's going to be better than that eventually, probably by next year. If you look at anything as far as development goes, Rick Barnes, a year under Rick and that staff, which, geez, got another top assistant going to get a head coaching job. That's a freaking resume in itself. Rick Barnes' coaches going in. Georgia State gave freaking Gonzaga all they wanted. It's former Tennessee freaking assistant coaching that team. Now our boy's going to ECU, and he'll do a great job there. But again, I think that that one's gonna hurt. And look, two things can be true. You can have a successful season, but you can also have a disappointing March Madness exit. And I know the Rick Barnes and March haters are going to be out in full force and already are from what it looks like in the forums and on the social medias. And they do have a partial leg to stand on. But I don't think Tennessee's going to find anybody better. These guys love to play for him. They get better every single year. Development's top notch. And I know the threes hurt us in this game, but also making and taking threes, it's kind of a formula that's working in the modern era and winning NCAA tournaments and winning in the tournament, even if it's not the full thing. He adapted. That's a huge step for a coach like Rick, from getting away from those mid-range jumpers that he's been used to. I think that Vols team beats Michigan 7 out of 10 times. I'm going to be honest. I think they've got some top end talent, but I don't think Michigan's that great of a team overall. Probably going to be betting against them next week. I don't like them right now. I don't think any of us do. That's okay. Tennessee did a lot of things right on Saturday. Only turned the ball over 7 times. Second best rate we had all season. Actually shot the ball well from 2. Just didn't make shots. And you know what? Like I said, we beat them 7 out of 10 times. We just had one of those 3 days on Saturday. On the bad side of the Rick Barnes stands, sometimes it does feel like the talent doesn't live up to the expectations in March. But you know what? They won an SEC title. You get to hang that banner. It's just really damn hard to win in this tournament. Maybe that adds some fuel to the fire for next year. I hope so. Got a lot returning. I think he's going to look forward to it. On a happy note, Lady Vols still in this thing, baby. Freaking Belmont, though, who they got on Monday, making back-to-back Cinderella stories. That's who they got on Monday night at 7 p.m. Lady Vols had a great second half against Buffalo, your MAC conference champs. Key, Burrell, Walker, all in double figures. 2 double-doubles. Tennessee crushed Buffalo on the boards. Total 55-38. But, I mean, the biggest part was, let's look here. I just want to make sure I got 24 offensive rebounds for Tennessee. Crushed them inside. It's those little things. I think it was 24-18 offensive rebound-wise. And another big factor was Tennessee got to the line 21-6 and made free throws for the teams. Tells you a lot. Tennessee gobbled them up. Tennessee got on the boards. Tennessee ate them up inside. And you know what? Size and athleticism on neither team shot great, but sometimes that's why these higher seeded or better seeded teams win ball games on not so great shooting nights. Because they can be bigger, they can be stronger, they can be more athletic, and they can kind of want it a little bit more. And by God, how many times did you hear that this weekend? They just want it more. We all say it. We all have some fun, especially if you're watching St. Peter's or somebody like that. They just want it more. It's one of our favorite March sayings. Might be like on the Mount Rushmore of March sayings. Something fun to think about. Another happy note, BaseVols. Holy shit. And boys swept South Carolina this weekend. According to our boy Ryan Shumpert, starting pitching only allowed 2 earned runs in 19.1 innings. Damn! That's impressive again. God. His team dominated offensively today, Sunday, and just kind of routed them. 10-0 was the final. Bats are swinging. This is another Tony Vitello team that's going to cure your heart after this weekend. It's time to hop on the BaseVols wagon, and dude, they've got some Omaha optimism in them already. Like, it's there. Like, I got to go last year. We all fell in love with this team. Dude. The homer to beat Wright State, the Grand Slam. Let's specify Grand Slam. It's a lot to live up to when it comes to expectations and how hype you're going to be about a season. But, dude, these starting pitchers are special. Special. And they can absolutely turn it up. The relievers, I'm sure some of you guys have already seen it on social media, but Ben Joyce coming out of the bullpen and just throwing cheddar. Just absolute high volume pitching. I mean, the guy can absolutely sling it. He's going to be in the low, I guess whatever you want to call this in baseball terms. They're not baseball terms, but like in a baseball perspective, like the 100s, like 103, that first night out, like he's going to be in the 100s. It seems like every pitch, or he might drop you down to 90. Like a lot of these guys can't even throw 90. but he does it on his off-speed stuff. Good luck with that. I'm excited about that, man. Beautiful spring day here in East Tennessee. Sad day, but beautiful. And it does feel like baseball weather. It's getting back. It's time. Hop on the wagon with us. And speaking of spring, this week starts spring practice. I'm gonna dive into it more next week, and maybe this coming week sometime. Might have some of the boys and sports writers on just to talk a little bit. Might dive in next Monday, but I'm gonna get over this L. This is a tough one. I really like this basketball team. I really did. We're gonna miss Kennedy Chandler. I miss Volke. I don't know what happens. I don't know what, we got BJ Edwards coming in. He's another really good guard. But you're going to bring a lot of the swagger back. Euros ain't losing any of that. Ziegler's still going to be the heart of this team. Vescovi's only going to get better. Triple J's only going to get better. It is weird, especially nowadays. You don't really know who's going to transfer. You don't really know who's going to stay. Kamwa, he's going to get better, and he's going to have more of a focal point next year, and I'm excited about that. He's a super athlete. I hope his recovery goes well. But I'm going to miss this team as a whole. This is a fun year. Kenny Chandler, that guy. That boy can play some ball, and he's going to do great things in the NBA. He's going to be a lottery pick. This has been a fun tournament so far. Did a lot of betting. Did some winning this weekend. Shout out to Carolina for getting me a nice little piece of the pie. But it's going to suck without Tennessee. Nobody wanted this road to end. Honestly, nobody even thought it was going to end. Let's be honest. Thought it was just going to ride well. Sometimes it gets cut short. Sorry to end on a sad note, but I think we're all still a little bit bummed because I was looking forward to playing next, I guess, Friday. I don't know when they would have played. Anywho, guys, appreciate you. Welcome to Valhalla. Shout out to Allie Butler for the new logo and symbol up here. Thank you guys for everything. You guys have a wonderful day. Appreciate you.